Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Before I get started with today's episode, I have a small request for you, and that is to go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when the next exclusive video drops. And also, you all know I love transparency. So when you subscribe to the channel, you also help us amplify the platform and amplify the reach. If you can, comment below because I always like to know when people are watching. And also, I like to learn who is part of our community. So, today's video is all about sharing with you some of the things that I'm doing with the book launch. I also want to share some chisme that I haven't fully released. And so, I just want to take you behind the scenes with me with this process. So, what I want to share with you is the announcement that I have officially find a publishing home, and I didn't realize how long the process was going to take. I'm also going to be sharing with you some of the investments decisions that I needed to make, some of the investment lessons that I'm learning as I go through this process, and also keep you in the loop of when the book is coming because right now we already have people that have decided to be advanced readers, which means that these people are going to be part of my launch team, as well as some of the things that are happening in our community, right? So let me start by sharing a little bit of my production home. Okay. So my publishing home. I was doing research on my own to find this place because part of the core message of Cash Libre is also reinvesting dollars back into our community. And I personally struggled to find a publishing home that will be able to deliver the type of production that I want for the book. Okay. And so I was doing a lot of research, I was spending a lot of time. I ended up with a publishing home that we just decided we were not going to be a good fit for each other. And so I continue on the hunt. And my book coach was the one that recommended Girl Friday Productions because A, they're local. Two, she knows about my values. She knows about why I'm writing this book. She knows about the impact that I want to create with the book. And she was the one literally that said, have you checked them out? And I said, no, I haven't. She's like, well, I'm saving you some time. I did some research, and based on my research, here's what I'm seeing. But ultimately, you have the decision. So I was able to get on their website, look at who they are, how many books they had, who are their authors, who are they, right? Like, what are their values? And I almost went into this hunt of if I'm going to be working with this production house, I need to make sure that we are in alignment 100%. And the moment I realized that it was female led, I was already like in love with it. So I said, yes, I want to be part of this collaboration because it makes sense, right? Then after that, I decided that, okay, I'm going to go with them. And I decided to submit my manuscript. So that is one of the requirements, okay? Which I've learned so much about this process, by the way. So once the book is quote unquote finished, meaning that you already think that is done, then you have to submit a sample so they can say, yes, we like what we see, or no, you're crazy and we don't want to work with you, right? It almost make me think of like going on a date with someone when you're like, okay, we'll see how it goes and then we'll go from there, right? So the person that ended up reaching out to me was super helpful. She responded via email, said, hey, thank you for submitting your manuscript. I'm going to meet with the team and then we'll let you know, right? So for a very long time, I was like, are they coming? They're going to send me that email. And it was very nerve wracking because I've also heard from other authors as I was interviewing to learn more about the process. Some of them say, like, yeah, I wanted this publishing home, but they decided that I wasn't a good fit. And so I was a little bit nervous about what are they going to say? Are they going to say, hell no? Or are they going to say, yes, values align? So when I met with the primarily lead for this publishing home, she said, we love what you see. We love the writing. We love the message. We love the fact that you are Latina. And now we can talk to you about the next steps. And so the next steps, of course, was the financial investment that comes with publishing a book, the financial commitment to, because it's not just an investment, it's actually a commitment of more money, more time. And also, they wanted to make sure that I answer like all of these questions to again, is she a good fit for us? And as I was going through just even completing their questionnaire, I learned about why having clear goals on any investment that you make is so important. For example, one of the questions that they asked was, how are you going to sell the book? Right? Because if you want to write a book, you also have to have a marketing strategy and a sales strategy on how are you going to like promote this book. So I was sharing so much with them. And through this process, I learned that healing money trauma is so important, especially if you want to have greater impact in our community, if you want to continue to grow and scale. So before this investment here, my biggest investment was my book writing. And so I've already had invested close to a low 5 years to work with my coach, which again was the biggest investment I have done since launching Say Hola Wealth and even in my personal life. And when it came to the investment to work with this publishing home, I've already have done research with other authors that have published books, some of them with bigger publishing homes, some of them with like micro publishing homes, but it's still like really high on reputation. And so they were able to provide kind of like a ballpark on, okay, it could be as low as this or as high as this, right? And I have to make the decision of, yeah, I want to continue to move on with the investment or panic and say, wait, how much is that? And when you are using a hybrid model, which is what I'm using, you have to pay for your book to get published. The other reason why I wanted to go through this investment is because I've also asked other people, hey, you got a book deal. How does that look like? And I got a lot of comments of, I wish I would have gone the hybrid route for my first book. And so I took notes. I decided to make the investment. And when the investment was presented to me, which again is now the biggest of all times, I did not look at that amount and panic and didn't feel like I need to go hide because what the heck? I was prepared emotionally. I was also prepared financially for this investment. But one of the things that I want to share with you is I knew that as I continued to write the book, I was going to have to pause on a lot of the revenue streams that were coming my way. For example, launching the academy this fall, which typically I do. I've also decided that I wasn't going to be launching other programs because we truly want to commit to 100% being invested in the book. Okay. And so, as a business owner, I'm going through a phase where my revenue pretty much went down because I did not launch the products. Now, I could have scheduled a lot of things in advance. I could have done emails. I could have done social media. I could have done so many things, maybe ads. But I'm glad I didn't because, as you know, this year my family is also going through some health issues that are getting resolved as I record this episode. But I wanted to give myself the time to just be okay with not having money. Now, as a business owner, that decision was very strategic because I have investments that are working for me. While my business might not be making the cash flow, the revenue isn't coming in, I do have money that is working for me through my business and also through my personal investments. So, another benefit of healing my money trauma is how I have learned to really embody this ability of negotiation. So, the publishing home sent me the contract, and I say, great. Thank you. Let me have my legal team look over. And as we were looking over it, I send it to my legal team. So this is what I do when I have any contracts. Okay. So I don't get the contract and then just pass it on to my legal team. I look at the contract myself and I look at, okay, let me master this ability of reading contracts. Let me master this ability to look between the lines and what it means. And so with my publishing home, we already had an agreement on the price, but we didn't have an agreement on the terms and conditions. And so I was able to say, hey, I've noticed that you're offering X. How about we go with Z? Or, hey, I've noticed that you were asking for this type of commitment from me, but I haven't worked with you. So can I remove these from the contract? And I was really happy with how they were able to work with me on this because they're like, yeah, absolutely. You also have to negotiate how many copies you get because you do have to get some copies as you make the investment. And that is one thing that I want to be very transparent. I did not negotiate because I didn't know that that was so important. But later on, I learned that, hey, if a publishing home is offering maybe to give you 50 copies, you can negotiate like, I don't know, 100, right? Like I didn't negotiate that. And I think for me was because I was more focused on my intellectual property, like making sure that I continue to own that, making sure that the people that are also coming behind me, meaning my illustrator and other people that I will be hiring, that we were also able to retain ownership of all of that. Which with my illustrator, yes, she produced the illustrations for me, specifically for the books, but I also had to do that part with her. Okay, and so we have been talking about how does the agreement look like? Are you a good fit for me? Are you financially ready to make the investments? Are you comfortable not having cash flow right now? And so if you are a business owner or someone who even has a 9 to 5 and you have been thinking about writing a book, this is a long process. But it's so important that we also do it because there are not many Latino voices out there sharing their live experiences. And so I want you to plan for writing the book, overcoming the fear of visibility if you have that, submitting the book, and then also thinking about the long term of the book. So the mindset that I'm embodying as I get closer to publish this book is I want to know that I'm in it for 5 years. Okay. And I'll explain why 5 years. So the good news about this investment that I made also with this publishing home, and I really, really like, I'm super happy with them because they are high on quality and they're also high on, we know our shit. So, like, they know they're not, it's not like a two-team type of publishing home. They have like a full on team. Okay. So, when I got to the kickoff call, I was in a meeting literally with like all these people, okay? And everyone has a different role. So, for example, I have someone who is going to be in charge of proofreading, someone who is going to be in charge of essentially creating the way things are going to be proofreaded. I have a project manager, I have an illustrator, and I have a marketing strategist, and I have other people below that, meaning below their organizational chart within the publishing home. And so I knew that making this investment wasn't just going to be for one person, it was going to be for multiple people. And I think that's why the investment also feels in such a beautiful alignment because that investment is not just going to one person, it's going to multiple women. And one of them is a Latina, which is my proofreader, who I just find out who she is. And my God, you guys, can't wait to share more on that because talk about drooling over what a powerful way to give back to my community, our community. And so, what we're doing now is I originally wanted to publish the book at the beginning of the year. Poor little me didn't know that there's so much that goes behind the scenes, like so much. My marketing strategist has a list of all of the things that we're going to cover. My project manager has a list of all of the things that we have to cover. My proofreader is going to go through the book and she's going to come back and say, hey, let's talk about this, right? And then this older girl that does the design of the book, she's going to say, this is what we're doing. So there's like a whole process. It almost makes me think, to add like a cultural analogy to these, it makes me think of when our families are making tamales, right? There's not just one person that does it all, typically. Make me think of my mom. When she makes her food, she has someone like making sure that she has the hojas, making sure that somebody's like putting the masa, they pass it on, somebody else folds it, and they kind of divide and conquer. So that's exactly what I'm doing now. If you are wondering how you can help me, because I know that you love the show, I know that you have been with us for a long time, here are a couple of ways that you can help. Okay. One is I will continue to be available for coaching and public speaking for from now until when the book comes. So what I need right now is I need to have access to more platforms, more visibility for the brand, for Say Hola Wealth, and for the mission of the book, which by the way, you all are going to love the book. You are going to love it. I just want to say that, okay? And so, one of the things that you can do for us is make sure that if you know of someone who needs a workshop on financial wellness, that you send them my way. If you are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. It goes a long, long way. And comment below on some of your biggest takeaways. The next thing is I will be looking for advanced readers. And at the beginning of this episode, I mentioned that I already have some people. So I have created a list of people that are going to have access to the book before it goes on books.org, Amazon.com. And if you want to be one of those readers, please send me a message on Instagram and just say reader, and I will make sure that you get on the list. The other thing that I want to say is we really, 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 really need to come together during this time. There's so much going on. And out of transparency, that's why I'm okay pushing the book back a little bit, because I want to make sure that we are emotionally prepared to celebrate, but also I feel like we need a little bit of time to just honor what's going on and also reset. I know I need time to reset, especially during the holidays, because I am also in a program right now that is very high level, high intensity, and that requires a lot of my brain power. And so I want to make sure that we are prepared for that. Another way you can help is if you know of a Latina owned bookstore in your community, please send them my way. Tag me on Instagram. Let me know, because we are looking for strategic partnerships for this book. And this book is for us. Like, this is the type of legacy that I want us to share in our community. And nothing that you do is too small. Like, if you like this video, if you subscribe, if you like a post, if you share, if you send me a referral, like, all of that goes a long, long way. Now, I want to know too, like, what questions do you have for me? If you want to publish a book, what are some of the questions that you have? I don't know everything. I have been leaning into my book coach, now my publishing home, but there's a lot of things that I'm learning as I go that I can share with you. There are also a lot of things that I've noticed that I have a lot of expertise in terms of like operational and launching that will be super beneficial as I come together with this collaboration with Girl Friday Productions, my publishing home. And yeah, let me know how I can serve you, because this channel and everything that I do is for you. I want to make sure that I give you resources. And I also want to keep transparency between what I'm going through as a business owner, as a mom, as a wife, as a coach. Some of my clients have been extremely patient with me when I said, "Hey, I need to cancel the call this week because I have some deadlines that I need to make sure that I check off the box." So thank you if you're one of my clients. And again, this channel is for you, so don't forget to subscribe below, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much for watching.